Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! Backstory. This happened in May 2019. My friend's dad and his friend in 2016 created a business for fun, but now is really successful business and they are a bit wealthy because of it. So let's get to the story. This will be told in the first person. So back in May 2019 I went on holiday and my friend hired a couple people for front desk and so on. But unfortunately one was a Karen, but she acted nice when the owner was there. So when I came back from holiday, I obviously walked into my business and was greeted by the front desk manager who I hired a year before. And I went to my office and had the sudden urge to be, so I obviously went. Note, I did go to the bathroom and not the plant pot in the corner of my office. So I came out of the bathroom to a Karen standing there and she yells at me saying, "What are you doing here, you homeless junkie?" Note that I was wearing my normal street casual clothes. Ma'am, I am obviously being cut off. I don't care who you are. Get out of here now. I am personal friends with both owners. I will get you arrested. She then proceeds to grab me by my hair in the direction of the door. I grab her hand and pull it away, and I start shouting, "Who the heck do you think you are? I am the owner, your boss. How dare you? You are not the owner, you trashy bum. I saw you walk in here in those homeless shelter clothes." Proceeds to dig into me, but eventually my friend, the other owner, comes down to see what's going on. What's going on here? "Oh, this homeless bum tried to steal from us. And probably do much more stuff if I didn't catch him. He isn't homeless, but he gets cut off as well. I deserve a raise. I will expect one this week." He tells her, "How dare you? That is Opie, the other owner, your boss." I show her my ID and with that, she is as pale as a ghost. "I'm sorry." "Save it. You're just verbally and physically abusing me. I cannot let you do this to our customers or staff. You're fired." "What? No! I need this job, otherwise my kids will starve." Note, she said she had no kids on the form she filled out. Also, she said she had none in the interview. My friend tells her, "I thought you said you didn't have any." She knew she was defeated. She stared at the floor and when I asked her to leave, I had my wallet in my hand. Karen grabs my wallet and tries to run, but then makes my security tackled by one. The police was called and she was charged with attempted theft, and we pressed charges. The workplace still laughs to this day about that woman. Some years ago I was working security at a corporate office park. I worked nights. I'm 6'1", 250 pounds and can be a little scary when annoyed. I'm in the lower lobby where the regular employees come and go. The main security office and desk are at the main lobby where guests come and go. I work the second shift, so I'm working from 3 p.m. to 11:30, as well as picking up overtime a lot of nights because the third shift guards were notorious for calling out. Since the parking lots are huge and surround the three buildings that are linked together making up the corporate complex, when it was raining at night I used the company shuttle van to drive the staff, mostly women, out into the parking lot to their cars. I also have a powerful light that I use to check the car and make sure no one is hiding in the backseat. That only happened once. It seemed the young lady's ex-boyfriend didn't take the pickup well and decided to surprise her. She was frightened and I had a talk with this young man. He didn't take it well to be ordered off the property. Taking a swing at me earned him a hard slap from my police flashlight and him being arrested after I called into the office and had the local PD stop by. Word spread all over the corporate campus, but a week later, I was called upstairs to corporate security to be told that I am being moved to another post because I'm too intimidating. I later heard that the ex-boyfriend complained that I hurt him and that he didn't do anything wrong. My removal set off a storm. It seems the woman was an exception to my replacement, who, while being a nice guy, is short, very young, and a little overweight and couldn't scare anyone no matter what. I was just amused at the crap they had started when a week later, I got a call to come to the main lobby because of a problem. I got down to the main lobby to find a young man pulling on the security doors to the main corporate office. The sergeant, shift supervisor, is there telling the fellow he cannot enter the corporate headquarters without a security badge. The punk is cursing out the sergeant, a nice old gentleman insisting that his girlfriend works there, and he's going to talk to her. When I arrived, the other young guard, who is only a little smarter than myself, also arrived. We grabbed the punk and dragged him back to the lobby while the sergeant called up to his girlfriend, who was furious that he'd shown up, and tried to get into the building to see her after she told him that he would not be allowed in the building, in addition to the fact that she works for one of the vice presidents and cannot have visitors. The police took the punk away, yelling and screaming about what he was going to do. The young lady came down after her shift and apologized about his nonsense and asked me if I could drive her out to her car as it was pouring rain. She thanked us for taking care of the problem and me, personally, for driving her to her car, and she asked me where I've been. I told her I was too intimidating, so I told her I've been moved to another building, research and development, which is empty at night. It seemed that the next day when she got to work, she had a talk with her boss, the vice president, who promptly called down to corporate security, who suddenly decided that intimidation and security was a good thing. I was moved back to my post, where I could help out and keep an eye on our employees. I just graduated 2 months ago as a teacher, English and economics, and immediately found work, even before graduating, so I was very excited to start working, as I hated my teaching practice. I'm a 23-year-old male and look like I'm 17 or 18, very annoying, and I think you know where this is going. At the school I work at, there is a hallway, the forbidden hallway, that students aren't allowed to go through. The administration offices are through there, so you get why students can't barge through it. But teachers and staff are allowed. The first few weeks were great, and I made sure that the rest of the team knew that I was a substitute and that they knew my name. So after a week or so, most of the team knew who I was. One day I was walking through the building and looking at my cell phone, checking for updates and checking Smart School, website we use at the school, when I suddenly hear a loud shriek. "Put away that cell phone! You aren't allowed to use that indoors!" I thought to myself, a pupil was probably checking his or her phone, and I thought nothing of it after that. A few minutes later, I wanted to go through the forbidden hallway, and I felt a tug on my collar. I turn around and here we have a middle-aged Karen. I didn't know Karens could become teachers, but hey, I thought all of them didn't have jobs, so I've never also seen this woman before at the school. But I figured that since I just started working there, I must have missed her. And the following interaction occurs. "Hey, you aren't allowed to walk through here." Me, as I just worked there, so I thought that I wasn't allowed to. "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that I could walk through here. Are you new here?" "Oh, yes I am. I'm Opie. Nice to meet you." I extend my hand to shake hers, which I always do when meeting people, especially at work. She looks at me, then my hand, then back at me. "You should talk to me with a bit more respect. And you are also not allowed to use your cell phone in the building." "Oh, but I was just checking." "I don't care. Pupils aren't allowed to use their cell phones." "But I'm not." "Don't lie to me. I saw you use your phone." She didn't even let me finish my sentence to say that I am not a pupil. She thought I was, and that I was denying that I was using my phone. I've been following these types of posts for a while, and I've always told myself that when I encountered someone who kept interrupting me, I would just lash out at them, so they would listen. Big mistake. "Listen here, lady." In my language, lady would be considered a bit condescending and rude, especially when said by a pupil. "How dare you talk to me like that? I will get you expelled for that." The bell rings and she storms off yelling, "You will hear from me again." I'm just standing there like, what the hell just happened? An hour or so later, I was in the teacher's lounge, break room. I also had a free period, and I was still trying to understand what just happened. In the break room, there were only a few colleagues sitting, 3 to 4, minding their own business. You know, working, texting, talking, and so on. At that moment, the oblivious colleague enters, sees me and turns red, then erupts like a volcano. What are you doing here? Everyone looks up startled, and they look at her. She walks over to me and tries to grab me again. I get up and walk back and try to say that I'm a teacher. But before I could open my mouth, she grabbed me and tried to pull me out of the break room. I don't really mind people touching me. I mean that I don't mind if they would tap me on the shoulder or something, or even hug me to congratulate me, but this was something different. You are not supposed to be here. Let go of me, you crazy witch. I slap her hand, and she becomes even redder, as if she didn't think this was possible. How dare you? Then a nice colleague enters the game. They say, "Hey, what are you doing? Let go of OP. She's still trying to grab me and drag me out." No, he's been disrespecting me, looking at his phone in the hallway, going through the forbidden hallway, and now insulting me. I am taking him to the principal's office. Well, he's a teacher here. The oblivious colleague looks at me, then to the nice colleague, then the rest of the break room. Some colleagues were entering the room, so around 3 more were standing in the doorway with a shocked expression on their faces. She starts stuttering, I… Then she storms out. I'm standing there shaking on my legs with a red face. The nice colleague says, "Are you okay, OP?" Yes, I think so. What happened? Why did she do that? I explained to them what had happened. Why didn't you tell her that you were a teacher here? I couldn't. She kept interrupting me, calling me a liar, and threatening to get me expelled every time I opened my mouth. When telling the story, some colleagues were laughing, chuckling, and others were just shocked. A few minutes later, the oblivious colleague and the principal walk in. OP, come with me. The principal asks. I am sitting there pissing myself. The principal is a pretty big guy and intimidating as hell. I don't know what to expect, but I don't know what Karen told him. The next few minutes are a complete hell for me. She apparently told the principal that I insulted her, called her names, this part was sadly true, was making fun of her and assaulted her. Again true, she had a red mark on her wrist, but she left out that she grabbed me first. OP, your colleague here told me that you hit her, called her names, and verbally assaulted her. Is this true? Well, yes, but… See? I told you. Karen, calm down. OP, you just started working here. What were you thinking? You can't assault fellow colleagues at work. I wanted to cry. I am not very emotional, but it was too much for me. This of course made it seem like I was guilty, like a child who got caught doing something bad and will proceed to cry because of it. The principal adds, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to let you go. But I didn't do anything. I blurted out sobbing. But your colleague here told me that. She lied. Nothing she said was true. I then proceeded to tell the entire story. Karen was trying to interrupt me and kept calling me a liar, but I managed to finish. But then Karen said the following thing. Well, it's his word against mine. She forgot, I guess, that there were witnesses present. I told the principal this and they called in the nice colleague, because I only knew her name at the time. She explained everything, apart from the previous interaction with my cell phone and in the forbidden hallway. The principal says, OP and nice colleague, could you excuse us for a minute? The nice colleague and I walked out, and when we closed the door, we heard the following outburst. You incompetent lying witch. You come to my office crying and screaming bloody murder because you mistook him for a student, not even letting him explain it. Then on top of this, assaulting him in front of other staff. You will hear from this. The principal calls me back into his office when Karen left. Would you like me to call the police? He asks me. No, I'd rather not. I was still shaken, not thinking straight, and I also just started working there. Karen seemed like the type of person to spin the story around and blame me. So I didn't want my future chances to dwindle because of this. Okay. Well, if you need anything or if she bothers you again, just tell me. After that, Karen kept trying to avoid me, but when that's not possible, she just ghosts me, pretending not to see me. The other colleagues are very supportive, and I'm lucky to work with them. Hope you all enjoyed this. I don't know what punishment Karen got from the principal or if it would have consequences for her, but I'm just happy that it was over. About 16 years ago, I was working as a greeter at Olive Garden as a second job just to make ends meet. The day before Mother's Day, I was about 10 minutes late punching into work. I was coming from my primary job, changed clothes when I got there and punched in. The manager immediately pulled me aside and said that I needed to be more courteous to my co-workers and show up on time as my being late affected other people. I responded that I was aware and I did call in to let them know that I would be late and that the person who answered was the person I was taking over for, and that she said to take my time because she was just going home and spending the night in alone. No big deal. The manager laid into me. She told me that I'm not the type of person that can hack having two jobs, that I was too inconsiderate to work two jobs, and that maybe I should choose which job I value more and quit the other one, and that if I quit the Olive Garden that I would not be welcomed back. Initially I thought, well, I am not going to let you chase me away, but then I realized this is a second job. I don't have to be here. I don't have to let her talk to me that way. I went home and told my soulmate, who also worked there as a second job, what was said. We mutually decided that I should quit the Olive Garden. So I went in for my morning Mother's Day shift, wearing my street clothes. Went to the back office to find the manager and said, "So I put a lot of thought into what you said and have decided that you were right, and working here for you is not for me anymore." She looked stunned and said, "Well, you're going to work today, right? You know, Mother's Day is our busiest day of the year. You can't just up and quit today of all days." Well, maybe this will be a lesson for you on how to speak to your employees and how to be a decent human being. Besides, you said it yourself. I am too inconsiderate to work here. And then I walked out. Have not set foot in another Olive Garden since. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.